Okay, what's up? Love Them Knives channel, LTK here. Kabongo, and let's do it upside down. I like doing it upside down. And the knives? Yeah, I can't tell if this is right side up or upside down. This is a crazy design here. Tuyaknife. I looked at it and that guy's, what's a Tuya? Well, I'll tell you what it's to me. It's this 1701. What a deal. And it was David Kim. I'm going to tell his name over the air. You're busted, Dave. In any case, he's like, what is this? And he gave me a link, and the rest is history. And it's all your fault. And you know how much money I had to spend? Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. In any case, I did because I saw this design and I go, wow, what is going on here? Look at that choil. Is that what you call that? Is that actually considered to be a choil when it looks like that? Whew. I saw Dave Warren. He's the American rep for Tuyaknife. I'll give you the link to their Facebook page. Yeah. Facebook page. Tuyaknife U.S. Sales and Service Public Group. Dave. Where's Dave? Dave. Williamsburg, Kentucky. Not China. They're made in China. Williamsburg, Kentucky. There you go. The Talisman, which is their hard-working, tough guy knife, $64.99. Their Chicane, which is classy and smooth and wild, is $149. S35VN titanium frame lock flipper. Blade edge is 3 3/4 inches, and you got that right. And about 4mm blade stock, titanium, anodized. If you want it anodized, you can get this. See these areas that are blue along here? Backspacer, pocket clip, this all. That can either just be regular silver with the rest of the knife, just plain, okay? Or it can be blue. Or it can be a kind of goldish, bronzish color. So they do those three options. And this is first production run, which you can still get in on, probably. S35VN steel. There's the number on here. And the number is also on the box, 067. So it's the 1701. It's blue. There you go. Good size knife. Check it out with your standard Mannix EDC, right? So Mannix is not quite as big. And if you want to flip the aspect ratio, see what I'm saying? Mannix is not quite even a 3.5 inch blade. This is 3 3/4. Okay? So smaller knife, bigger knife. Backspacer, anodized. Got some kind of traction on here, but for grip purposes, I don't know about that. It's really even with the scales. Lanyard hole, great idea there. Cut out on the blade. But I don't know about finger flipping that thing with that cutout, because let me tell you, that's detent. To me it is, and it's centered. I took this apart, put it right back together, boom, centered right up. Not a problem. So that was handy. And if you have a screwdriver, I know those are very rare, very difficult tools to get a hold of, but yeah, you might be able to do that. And I think these are number 6 Torxes. So didn't have to take the pocket clip off. Just take these two. And, you know, since they got screws coming in from the other side, you know, you got tubes that run through the backspacer. They're threaded internally, and the screws come in from both sides. This one's your pivot tube, and this one's your pivot screw on this side. And these are just a decorative collar that goes around the pivot. That is some snappy, for a blade that's 3 3/4 inches. That's some snappy detent on that. And you know what? I'm going to show you a pictorial. Here's the pictorial, okay? The 067. So I'm no bait and switch in here. I wouldn't know how to do it anyhow. Not that smart. Okay, so here's the insert on your lock bar. And that to me looks like a ceramic detent ball. Now, you got titanium here. So you got a steel washer here and a steel washer under here because you don't want the bearings rolling on titanium. And of course, the other side is the steel blade. So you got steel on steel both sides. I always put the closed part, see there's the open part of the bearings. I always put the closed part of the bearings up against the blade and the open part on the steel washer. I mean, do it however you want. I mean, that's how I do it. When I took this apart, this is before I wiped it down. It was pretty dang clean. So there was no little manufacturing goop or whatever. And you see how they excavated or they skeletonized the scales on the underneath to save weight. I think 4.8 ounces on this. And see, here's the tube that goes through the spacer, and it's threaded on, through. So the screws go through here. This one, I think there's the tube. So one screw came out one side, one screw came out the other, and they pulled apart. But it was easy to take it apart, look it over, take picture, that kind of thing. So where's the hardware? It's right there. Some of it, whatever. Let's get back to the knife. Yeah. You've got some jimping up here on top. What I thought was kind of interesting is the flipper tab is jimped. There's jimping up here. See where they've, not every knife does this little landing zone cutaway thing, which is a thoughtful situation because your finger lands right here. Some knives are jimped way back here, and your finger lands on the jimping, and some of the jimping on some of these knives is pretty aggressive. And so you're going, well, I'm kind of tearing things up on my finger doing this. So this is thoughtful going, yeah, we want jimping here for here, but we don't want to tear the index finger up when this is the only opening option here on this knife. Really, to do it with your thumb, I just don't see that as being practical. And plus, the detent is really strong on this thing. I'd say on my 0 to 10 detent scale, 10 being the toughest, that this knife is probably about a 6, maybe a 6.5. That's pretty good. And once it goes, it goes. So it's snappy, not swinging gait like, this is pow. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let's see how fat it is. How fat are you? 0.53 of an inch, which goes to like 13.5 millimeters. Blade stock, 4 millimeters, which is like a 0.15, whatever, 0.16. It's probably close to 0.16. It's like a 0.157, 0.158 of an inch. So, yes. And, come here, Bertha. You got big yeller. Okay, come on. See, you can see if you lay a tape down at the base, depends on where you get on that choil, but really when you hit that choil or the end of the cutting edge of the blade, you're at 3 3/4 inches. Now you go back to the back of the choil, you're at 4. But if you measure in the middle at the closest point on the scale, you're up to 3.5. So where do you want to be? Okay, they're saying it's 3 3/4 cutting edge. They're right. And that's, you're talking 96 millimeter blade, 97, somewhere in there, depending on where you want to measure. And almost 8 3/4, really 8 3/4. I mean 8 3/8 overall, which is 21, not quite 21.5 centimeters. How's that working for you? And Tuya knives made in China, like I said. Did we go over the pedigree? Well, what's interesting is that there is a person named Kevin. He's in China. He's making these knives. He and another person designed their knives. More knives will be coming out. This is the first titanium frame lock flipper I believe that they have released in the USA. And like I said, the Talisman, which I buried here, is their kind of hard-working, tough guy knife, you know, steel frame, liner lock knife, AUS 10 steel, okay? Come in these nice boxes that close magnetically, which is very common for a lot of Chinese-made knives. And even Boker does that and this and that. You get a microfiber cloth and a little thing here to protect it. It goes in here. I mean, first it goes in the plastic, and then it's a fitted box for the chicane here. So you got that, okay? You got this. You get the microfiber cloth. I know it's 150 bucks. It's a great design. If you like this design, hey, you're going to want this knife. And while supplies last, he included a zipper pouch, which came in a bag like this. So he sent me one for each knife. I got the Talisman and the Chicane. So I got that. And this is a separate manufacturing facility in China, but Kevin, his uncle owns an OEM knife manufacturing plant that makes some other knives, some of the models of some other brands like Best Tech or Factor Equipment. Not all the Best Tech knives, not all the FE knives, but some, and other brands as well that have yet to be disclosed and probably won't be disclosed. Because, you know, knife brands over there, and, you know, a lot of places won't disclose who makes their knives. So, and that's okay. I don't care as long as it's a good knife and it's good pedigree. And this is a good pedigree, because I'm telling you right now, me personally, I'm looking at this knife and I'm going, does this pivot look familiar to you? I mean, this is the Best Tech from the Mass Drop deal, right? So yeah. What am I going to say? I ain't saying nothing. I'm just saying some things look a lot like others. So I know this is coming from a good pedigree, background, affiliation at some point in time, but they're their own company. They're making their own knives. They're making Tuya knife models. They're not an OEM manufacturer like his uncle, who has a manufacturing company. So, to make that clear. And they want to be known for quality products. So, they're warranting their knives, I believe, lifetime warranty. And Dave is here in the US. I'm going to give, you're going to get the link to this site plus his email address. Order what you want. If anything, he will have extra hardware and ability to perform warranty service on these knives. So, you need an exchange, you need a repair, you need other hardware. That sure makes a huge difference. A huge difference. To me, it does. I know where I can go if I need to, if I take it apart and I lose the blade stop or one of the screws or something happens. Hey, that's great. He's just an email away. And in the USA. Good knife. Feels good. It's a great design. To me, it is. It appealed to me. I'm just going to say that because I can't make statements for everybody just broad across the board. But to me, this really appealed to me. When I saw this, and Dave, not Dave Warren, but Dave Kim, sent me this link to this knife company, I just went on a, on a tear to find out everything, a mission to find out what I could about them and contact them, because I wanted to buy one of these knives. And they did give me a bit of a discount. I didn't get these for free, but they gave me a discount of sorts. And of course, since they already had extra these zipper pouches, they gave me one of them, and they gave me a flashlight. And that was for each knife that I bought. And these are 800 lumen flashlights that are very bright, and they have various brightness levels and strobe, and they're USB rechargeable. So, I mean, as an extra that was a throw-in on my purchase, wow, I'm all in with that. I love having a flashlight, an extra one in the car, backup here and there. Also, they make incredibly nice gifts. And, one in the bedroom. Hey, the power's gone out in my house several times. Just different things happen, storms and stuff. So, yeah, I love having flashlights. I really like flashlights too. And I'm probably going to do some reviews on some flashlights in the future. But, so, I dig that as well. In any case, fairly slender carry, not real tall blade. Look at how it falls in to the scale. That's a nice design. I mean, there's no broken lines here. The flow is really good. And as far as the blade goes, nice tall grind on it. This is a great slicer. It can do some piercing. It's probably not the piercing champion, but you've got enough blade stock here. You don't have a fragile tip. So I like that too. And hey, when you like the design of a knife, you just do. And so, yeah, you do what you do. Is this the most sensible knife in the world? God, I hope not. I mean, I just like it because it's a design I dig, and then the rest of it kind of made sense because it's a good quality, manufacturer and materials. Okay. Actually, well, I'm not going to go down that road. There's a Chinese Tuya knife that I've kind of been looking at, and it's not one that Tuyaknife USA is going to distribute, but it's an M390, and they took that and they tested it. There was another guy that took it, tested it in Australia and stuff, and went back to Bowler and everything, and yes. So, I mean, the doubters that say, oh, that's, that can't be real M390, or the heat treat's wrong, or whatever. No, this was all verified by the Austrian company that makes M390. So, I mean, we know we're getting the right steels when you get these manufacturers that are these quality manufacturers. They're doing it right. So, will I believe Bestech? Yes. Will I believe We and Kaiser? Yes. Okay. Riot? Yes. Those kinds of companies? Yes, absolutely. And this is part of that situation. Comfortable in the hand, as amazing as it may seem, because it's a pretty radical design, but actually, this front area here, choil or whatever you want to call it, behind the guard is comfortable, comes up to a, kind of a palm swell back in here, and extra room for your other fingers. Big enough scale for large hands. Reverse grip, yeah, that works. That works. I like it, of course. It's big, it's blue, it's got bearings. I'm hooked, I'm done, and this here is cool. I just like that design cue. This crazy choil, I'm not sure I'm going to try and open a bottle of beer with that. I saw him do it on his Facebook on the video, so check that out. No, no, I don't think so. I mean, he's dragging his chicane around and using it like I'd use a beater knife, but this ain't no beater knife to me. So I'm going to be a little bit more respectful to it. But yes, and he said, you know what? This action is getting smoother and smoother as I use it. And I've had this for several weeks. I mean, I decided, you know, hey, I'm gonna take my time. And I have noticed that, of course, you know, I took it apart, put it back together. I put a little bit of nano loop, you know, just that kind of stuff. But I mean, since I took it apart I asked him for a picture if he had one of it disassembled, and he didn't. So I just did. So yes, so when I put it back together, of course, you know, you're going to kind of wipe it down and, you know, put a little nano loop, whatever in there. But the action has been really good on this knife. Maybe, if anything, a little too much guillotine. I don't know. And you could tighten that up a bit if you wanted to and slow that down. To me, that's fine. So I'm good with that. I just want your reaction to this. I want your comment on this. I don't know. I mean, I put it up on my Instagram, and there was definitely some people that were interested in it, that thought it was really cool. So I guess I'm not all alone in that, but this has got to be one of those designs that you have a strong reaction to, either positively or negatively. What does this look like? What does this look like? Like some kind of a shark or a fish or I don't know. It reminds me of something, and now I'm not figuring it out. But this has some kind of an organic look to it in a way. Maybe a little bit on the primitive side. Something's going on. Parting shot, and then I'll let you go. I'll give you all the links to be able to get a hold of them and get these, because you know, there was a run of 100, and then they're going to make more. But I mean, you might want to get in on that first run, and if not, hey, they're going to make more, and they're going to have some other models coming out in the near future, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I have no idea what they're going to do next. I am not privy to the upcoming or designs, but I know they're in production right now, so I know it's not going to be that long. Yes, not bad. 4.8 ounces. Not that heavy. But then, you know, they've skeletonized inside these liners. So, you know, what does that come out to? 4.7, I'm sorry. 134 grams. So 4.7, 4.8, 134 grams. Not bad. Not even 5 ounces. Pretty big knife. You know, good in the pocket. One thing I do want to point out, sorry I didn't get to this earlier. These squares here, it's not stone. I mean, after the machining's done, this is not tumbled or stonewashed or whatever. So there is some degree of edginess to these cutaways, to these cutouts right here. I mean, you could feel it. I mean, it's not, you know, rounded or anything. I don't know how you do burr something like that anyhow, because it's so close to the scale, but you see what I'm saying? So on the other side, your pocket clip comes down right there. Now, I put it in my pocket because Dave was saying, ooh, it might get a little catchy with that, and they're going to correct that in the future run. But when I slid it in my pocket, I didn't have an issue. So maybe it just depends on the stitching of the lip of your pocket, or what kind of material on your trousers. I'm just, you know, beater old jeans for me, and so it went in and it came out, and I didn't have it catch or rip or do any weird things. It's not that, I mean, because he brought it to my attention, I started feeling on it. Otherwise, it kind of went over my head. But yeah, I mean, you know, you can feel it. So that's just another caveat. And I kind of figure, you start doing these raised areas like this. I don't know how you make them smoother unless you stone wash it after you get done or whatever. I don't know. But in any case, there you are, bead blast it maybe, whatever. In any case, now, full disclosure, because I almost forgot about that. Even when I handle it, I kind of just pass over there. I really don't notice it that much. And I don't know how focused some people are on just every little nit and deal. I'm not, unfortunately. It might make me less than a desirable reviewer because I'm not going to hyper focus. But, and I get, amped up by a great design and everything and the nice ano and contrast work that they've done. So I tend to not hyper focus on little things. But yeah, I guess if you run your fingers over this, you can feel it, which creates traction. So, I don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? Depends on what you're looking for. If you want some traction, there you go. So, gonna let you go. Thank you for joining me. We got a pass around group and we got table sales. If you want to be on the advanced notice list for the table sales where you can buy before it's publicized, before it goes public, or you want on the pass around group, or keep track of the 10th of every month, Trader's Corner. You can buy, sell, trade in the comments section, or you can give me a list to read on the air. If you email me that list prior to probably the 8th or 9th of each month, I'll get it on air. So we've got that going on too. Pass around, Trader Corner, table sales, reviews, God only knows. Thank you so much for joining us. And you know what we do on this channel. We love them knives, so stay sharp.